Check 1, 2. Hey, everybody. Oh my gosh, what a total disaster this has been. Let's let's recap. So for some strange reason, I don't know if you guys can hear me yet. I'm waiting to hear it on the there it is. Hey. Okay, so for some really strange reason, I am not able to add or even see NDI sources on my network. And that's kind of how this was all going to work today, because I also can't find the NewTek Connect app, which turns USB sources into NDI sources. And for some reason, my computer does not like my webcam. So whenever I add it, oh, hey, it actually did add it. Wow, this camera looks like crap compared to my other cameras. This looks like garbage. All right, let me fix this a little bit, because yowzes. And we're going to do this number. All right, there's my source. And just give me a quick second here, folks. I'm going to add this. Whoops, we're going to add this camera. Whoa. We're going to crop it a little bit. Oh. Wait, are we going to crop it or no? Apparently not. Oh, whoops. Let's undo all that. There we go. It helped if you selected the correct source, John. Always helps if you do that. All right, let's try and get me live here at least. And oh my gosh. What a stinking disaster. What's going on, everybody? Hopefully you're doing well. Like I said, this camera looks like hot garbage today. Okay, so here's the problem. And I can probably turn down this light because, my goodness. But I can't because there's no companion app on this. Or there's no... this new computer is a thorn in my side. So let me see if I can control it from my old machine. Ooh, I think I can. Yeah, there we go. All right, now how does that look? It still looks terrible. So bad. Whoops. So bad. Hey, and that's the what? And that is the price for doing it live. Man. Okay. But that is no better than where we started. Okay, so yikes and yikes. This has been a total disaster with the new machine as of for today. Whoop, no, crap. Total disaster with the new machine. As you've heard, there was no music because I was going to do that over. For crying out loud! vMix socials. This needs to be a lot easier than it is. Yes, go ahead. Yes, use my login. Continue. I shouldn't have to click that button. All right, retrieving streams. Here we go. Turn it on. Let's get going. Come on now. View this. Hey, everybody. What is going on? Now, does this work? Ugh. Of course not. Why would... Let's see if I do this one. Why are none of my titles working now? Gosh, this is so frustrating. I'm so sorry, everybody. Overlays. Oh, look, socials. Why is this not working? All right, vMix socials. I want to use the one that's called Wedge. Let's try this one more time. Okay, so it didn't. It put it in here, but it didn't fire it. So let's add this. Hey, there we go. I mean, there we go. All right. First thing first, Chad gets a shout out. He was here on time and I was not. And so, what is going on, Chad? And good morning, Angus. Hopefully, you're doing well. They have already apparently said their hellos. So, I guess I got to leave this highlighted. Chad says that he hears me, but nobody could see me. So, yeah. I really had forgotten how complicated this was. And did Windows set your network to public? Why isn't this automatically showing? Yes. There's a good chance Windows did set my network to public. There's a good chance. And so let's check that out. Network connections. No, not network connections. Going here, yeah. Sharing center. Put this away home. Oh no, it's a private network. Oh, and that's interesting. Okay. Yes, so no, it is currently set to private. And that might be part of the issue. Might be part of the issue. Oh no. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, the whole show? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, everybody. See, this is what happens when you're not monitoring your own show. Oh, that's strange. Oh, geez, guys. I need to catch up on the chat to find out what's going on here. Webcam audio is still enabled. Yeah, and I disabled it when I added it, so that's really annoying. So super sorry that happened. And what's going on, Frank? Yeah, it's amateur hour here apparently. Kill your webcam audio. Yes, super sorry. Why isn't this staying on? This is supposed to be probably a setting in socials. Repeat queued entries only. All right, let's try that. So now if I fire one, no, not that one. That sounds even worse than the NTG2 did. If I click on, whoa. Sorry about that. Why doesn't that fire every time I tell it to? Man. You know when you set something up like a long time ago and then it all those details you forget about? So now I've got to figure out how to, every time I load something into my overlay 1, I want it to fire, and I think it's he'll get here eventually. It's true. That's the least so much better now. Thank you. Clean audio for the win. So you've managed to proper 30 frames by the looks of things. It actually might be this camera, believe it or not, because this camera's 1080p 60 and that one is not. And so there's a good chance of that. Okay. Here's the deal. This is the new machine that we made. Did we make it just last week? Maybe 2 weeks ago? No, last week. Anyways, we built a new machine and it has been humming along just fine for the week for all my work and all that stuff that I've got to do. But for streaming, it is clearly not set up for what I need it to do. Now, the big news is we are running AV1 encoding to YouTube. And so if you're watching over on YouTube, then you are seeing the AV1 encode out of my 4060 GeForce. So this was only last week. Wow, it feels like a long time ago. That's for sure. Ooh. Can I... Let me try this. Still not working. So it's probably an automation that I need to set up for the lower thirds to fire every time I click on... If I add it to queue, and then I go into socials and say queued entries only, automatically update title with the most recent. Trigger overlay 1. There we go. Okay. So now when you guys send me something, it'll say, I don't have to click it 3 times just to get it to show up. So, okay. Mystery number 1 solved. Now, I'm getting VP9 from YouTube to me. Interesting. Let's take a quick little... Now, the question I have actually is the bit rate that I'm sending. I'd like to know a little bit more about viewing that status, because evidently it's supposed to be a whole lot lower with AV1 than when you're sending it in 264. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out what... Wait, did my webcam audio just come back on? Certainly not. Okay, no, I don't think it did. It was enabled again, but not. You know what? All right. It's time to correct that error, because there should not be audio with this source. Audio settings, and I want to mute this. We're going to take it out of the channels and out of the headphones. There we go. Okay. All right, now that should no longer be an issue. All right, so this camera is slapped together. This is a Logitech 930 with old school, you know, like the little rectangle. So I had one of these when I was running in at Bird Dog originally. My original camera was this. And then that was a Bird Dog camera. So like I bought it with Bird Dog money. So I left it with the company. But the I bought it again because my wife needed to do some online stuff for school. And so for her teaching school. So she could attend some meetings, and everybody knows MacBook webcams are crap. And so we bought her a 1080 camera. Now in general, it's a pretty good picture, but when you add lighting, it's terrible. And so I'm not a big fan unless you like get into the editing options of it, and it's a total mess. So the question I have is, how do I get, I wonder if the network settings on my old machine are set to public. So let's find that out. Now, interesting thing about this is Mr. Frink sent me yesterday a list of a brand new reworked network guidelines from Bird Dog support. And so, hey, you look so much more green. Are you working on Chroma? Looks like St. Patty's. Well, there's a green background, a green shirt, and a green video going on around me. So that I understand. I could change the background light to not be green if you'd like. But yes, VP9 here as well. I promise you that I'm encoding on AV1, and I could show you those settings if I had screen capture running. But I don't right now because, again, haven't got everything installed. All right, so the trick then, I still have the old machine. Like, it's still fully functional. Everything's inside it. I haven't taken anything out. And it's actually running just over here on, you know what? I've noticed that I am peaking big time. I'm peaking on my soundboard. So let me listen to this and see what this sounds like. But I doubt that YouTube is distributing anything with AV1. I have the Elgato Facecam MK2. It's remarkably good-looking camera for a webcam. Nice. I haven't seen that one yet. I would like to. Yeah, so there is a little program that you can get with this, which I have yet to download, I think. And it's called, Logitune. Here it is. So you can manipulate the image. So like autofocus is on, auto exposure is on. So maybe we should overexpose and then dial down. Okay, that's not so bad. Overall brightness is pretty terrible. Contrast, whoa, no thanks. And then, yikes, the sharpness gets a little. Everything is very digitally. You can even change the focus if we'd like, so we can manually focus this camera, which I don't really see any purpose because it just keeps the whole thing in focus. So, and then you can zoom it. So there you go. Now I should adjust this image inside vMix and get me like center, but one thing at a time. And yet your stream audio is so quiet. I'm at half volume on my phone, and this is like a comfortable listening level for me. So I'm not too sure. Like I've got 50% to go. So on my phone, it seems to be not super quiet, and yet you guys are saying it's quiet on your side. So I hooked up my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema for 6K directly via USB, and the new firmware lets it be a webcam. Ooh, I have looked at those. I've looked at several Blackmagic cameras, the Micro Studio and the Pocket Cinema 4K. They both look amazing. I'd like to stop using my Canon as my webcam and go to something else. So I'm in talks with someone at Bird Dog about maybe trying to get my hands on a camera. But we will see. We will see. My laptop's at 75%, and you're super quiet. That is very interesting. I wonder why that is. How could I check that? I could check that with this other computer. So youtube.com, John O'Canute, page not found. Okay. So let me go here. Oh, look, I'm live. All right, so full volume on YouTube and full volume there. Yeah, okay. I am a little quiet. I will agree with that. So let's see if maybe it's something on the vMix side, because vMix actually doesn't show me coming all the way through. Oh, and I think I know why. So let's try this. Looks like the device volume in vMix was set to 45%, which is not what I had it before. So let's now see what this sounds like. Okay, so that is a whole lot quieter. So now I will sit and listen and wait to hear what your report is. Angus has now reported back it's better. Randy said he had good loudness on his phone, which is, I agree, it was loud enough on my phone. Whoa, that went way up. Yes. So vMix had it set to 45%, which is not what I had it set at. On the other machine, I exported all of my configuration files and imported them into here, which is why we have similar backgrounds. Most of the stuff works. So now my laptop's at 50% and you're at a comfortable volume. Okay. So I'm probably blazing in my phone now. Yeah. Now I'm at like 25% of my phone. And I can hear it clearly. Interesting. All right. Well, I'm still peeking out on my soundboard. It's still way too hot. So I'm going to look at these and see. It looks like maybe the weight needs to be toned down a fair bit. Let's see what happens if we pull this back. Check, 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 check. Nope, still crazy heavy. The other thing I've forgotten about, let me know if that's any quieter. The other thing that I've forgotten about is, because that's grouping, is how to enable the mix bus output on the USBs inside the 32 core. So on my previous machine, all the mix buses were coming back to the computer, and I could obviously then mix down what channels I wanted and send them back to the machine. But now they don't appear as buses. They don't appear as buses via USB anymore. I can send them out to the left and right, but no mix buses anymore. So if I start turning these off, and this one too, yeah, okay, so now there's nothing going out. I'm still receiving way too much audio in. I wonder if my kids touch these dials. You have to get the ASIO drivers installed. I did. Oh, have you? Yes, I did do that. And maybe it's not running? Let me find out. All right. So those are all here. Status. So the control panel's here. Let's just look for the drivers here. Hang on. Behringer audio device, Behringer audio device. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. I thought I did. Let's look that up one more time because Behringer downloads filter X software X driver PC. All right, let's download that one. This has the ASIO in it. Question for you. There we go. This is probably going to require a restart, so it's not going to work today, but we will get this started at least. Okay, so the other question is, why aren't my NDI signals from my other computer coming over to this computer? Because in theory, I could offload all the NDI stuff on the old computer and just bring them in as sources on this machine and really alleviate the work that needs to be done. Now, my Canon camera is working on that machine and is being converted to an NDI source that I can see. It is 720/30 though. Wow, that's bad. And I can see the NDI source on this computer. So let's go to that machine and check my network settings, because I've never had to do NDI on this machine because everything was local. So if I open that, and one thing I might try and do here while I'm trying this is just open scan capture. Does that give me my desktop in here? Save and close. I just want you to be able to kind of like follow along. Here it is, desktop right, change this to this one. Cool. All right, so we'll close that down. I'm going to add, oh my gosh. One moment, please. Trust me, it'll be worth it, I think. Okay. Is any of this worth it? All right, so we're going to install those drivers. I'm going to show you the old machine, because here it is. Yoink. And then yoink. So hopefully you can hear and see me. All right. So we're in good shape. All right, so here we are on my old computer. Let's just check out what is going on with this guy. Oh, look, domain firewall is on. So that's not good. Are you sure you want to mess with this? Yes. Click on this, turn that off. Are you sure? I am sure. And on here, on this machine, the new one, we can open Studio Monitor and just verify when those streams come through. So here's one, and where's the other? This one right here. So now you guys can see both. So I don't have any sources yet. Okay. Let's keep going. And off, off, off. Still no sources? This is the current vMix machine. Chess, it sounds like you're experiencing what every person who ever posts on Facebook is. Make sure that you're not on static IP using a Netgear. Turn off the second NIC. Stand on one leg. Look like a chicken. Yeah, I know those guidelines. I may have set up some of those in the past. So check this out, though. On Studio Monitor, see, that is my NDI signal coming from this computer into Studio Monitor. And so those sources are also here. Look, 1 and 2. And then VLC, which was playing music. And I was like, oh, I'll just bring in the music via VLC NDI, and that way that will work. Well, guess again, small fry. Threats, ransomware, blah, blah, blah. Personal account, yada, yada, yada. This only has one connection to a network, no Wi-Fi. I don't believe it's got a static IP address. At least it doesn't know it has a static IP address because, I drink my Kool-Aid. CMD, IP config. Okay, there it is. So that's fine. Windows Defender firewall is on. Well, let's turn that off. Whoops. There we are. Threats and protection. Threats. Manage settings. Do. Yes. But are you sure you want to turn it all off? Yes, I am 100% sure. All right, so are we still on now? This should refresh. It's off. It's off. Okay. Okay, that's maybe something. All right, so let's kill this and reload Studio Monitor. Now so still nothing yet. Here's an idea. We could open Access Manager and see what it says. The Zen device still said public? Yeah, public is a big problem. Is this one public? I don't think this is public anymore, right? Manage settings. It's not multicast. Does the preferred NIC do anything now? I guess I have dueling NIC cards or dueling ports on my NIC here. All right, what did we say? 249. So let's go back to turn on private network. Oh, whoops. Yeah, public is a big problem. Shouldn't you be looking at network config on the new machine? Settings, network and internet. Settings? Yeah, okay. Whoops. I want to, obviously I'd like to get set up with NDI here again, but public. So there we are. That's interesting. Okay. So now we'll kill this. Whoa. So still nothing. This one's... Oh, we can see it, which means that it's got to be on this card too. Oh, dear. Oh, no, this one's set to private. Maybe I need to give it more time than 2 seconds. Nope. Are you sure you want to monkey with? Oh, jeez. No. All right, I might drop you for some reason because I'm changing network settings right now. Just hold tight. All right. When you do this on one computer, you got to do it on the other. All right, that's all off now. Can see the NDI stuff is passing through here, but so check it out. On the other machine now, I can see both computers. So that's cool. All right, so that means that machine is good. So now there's a problem with this computer. Now I've changed the firewall settings. Let's check on Windows security stuff. Let's make sure those are off. Why do I keep closing Studio Monitor? It's like a bad habit. Okay, here it is. All right, those are now off. Any new nuggets of information about Windows 11 with NDI that anybody should be sharing with us at this point? Virus protection, that's all off. Still nothing on this side. Get out of your remote desktop. The Windows 11 system settings on the new machine, not the old. He'll get here eventually. Yes, I'm there now. So these are the new settings, right? Network and internet. I've got these two connections, but that should not matter. You know, this one's not connected. I should isolate my NDI traffic, I know. Which I was going to do, and then I totally failed to do that. Windows firewall's off. And then, what else? Network and internet. Private network. Private network. what can I say? I haven't run into any oddities with Windows 11 NDI yet. Okay. Let's just double check, make sure I didn't do anything in here. Nothing in here that and yet are we seeing those NDI sources? No. Fascinating. Angus has also not seen any issues. So I wonder what it could be. What is stopping us from seeing those sources that are clearly now running on this machine, to which we can also see those sources. So those sources are getting out. They're not getting in. Disable the other source so that it forces traffic through only one interface. NDI will advertise your own feeds, but with both NICs, only listen to the preferred one. So that I don't know about, because when I spoke with NDI about this, they said if you have more than one network connection to the same network, NDI is actually programmed to load balance between the two, not splitting signals. But if you have two NDI signals, it'll send one down one chain and one down the other. And it kind of does it per signal, not per workload. So it will do, it'll do, like if you have a full NDI signal from a bird dog camera and then you have a HX signal, it will send one down one and one down the other and say, I split the difference. It won't see the quantity of data that's being shipped out through the full NDI source and the lack of data through the HX source. It will only do the, it'll do how many sources, divide those, which is why I went with a dual fiber card, just because that way, you know, that'll never be the issue when I get there. It actually does that surprisingly well. Agreed. When I had the studio at the Bird Dog office, I was running like a dozen NDI sources into that vMix machine. And that was a Stream Dudes machine, which I'd be curious to know what the fate of that was, Frank, if you're still around. It was a Stream Dude machine, and I put a dual fiber NIC on that machine via USB-C, and it ran great. I never had any issue with NDI sources or anything like that having problems. All right, so this machine is not having any issues seeing NDI sources on the network. But this machine, my new one, is having issues seeing NDI sources. So I'm going to go with that it's likely the new machine that's having problems. And I can generate sources on this computer, but I can't see them outside of this. So that's an issue. That's the issue here. If I add an input and say NDI sources, I can see the three. I can see the three that my computer is generating, but we're not seeing any from off-site. So, yet NDI can't figure out what a Windows service is, so maybe they need some help on the Windows concepts. Had to send that machine back to Stream Dudes as the CPU failed. Oh dear. Still has some issues where it ramps itself up when nothing is running and will reboot itself. That's fascinating. And unfortunate. It was a great little machine when I was running it, but apparently I ran it to death. So, so sorry about that. Okay, so let's continue to troubleshoot the no, I will reboot later. So let's continue to troubleshoot our NDI network here because we're still not getting our sources inbound. So I'm going to go back to settings, and we want to go to network and internet. We are connected here as well. I'm going to disable this Wi-Fi just because I don't need it right now. Private network. Let's go ahead and switch apps. Domain is off. Private network. Let's just do this for a second just to see if anything happens here. Nope. Turn that off. Public network firewall is off. Let's go advanced. Let's see what else we can find out. Doesn't hurt to try. Agreed. Okay, so let's see if anything else. This is all off. No inbound rules. Monitoring. Your computer is not protected. Turn on Windows Defender. Yeah. Current threats. Where's manage settings here? These are all off. All right, let's maybe potentially kill this stream. It looks like it's going out of fiber 2, so I'm going to disable this network, fiber 2. Maybe I don't want to do that there. Maybe I want to do that at the switch level. Because I've been having some issues with this network card and what's the IP address here? IP config. Fiber 2 is 39, which is in port 11. So we're going to say port configuration. You guys want to see this? We say port configuration. See here, number 11. And oh, you know what? Nothing. That was not the key to this. Oh, I think I got dumped. It was buffering. I saw it. All right, so let's go back to this guy. Interface. Enable. But this is maybe where I'm going to apply this. Is my frame size wrong? Why is this at 9198? That doesn't seem right. Shouldn't it be? Actually, and this is where I wanted to talk about here today. Let me open up. Oh, not this machine. Open up my other computer, and my good friend, Mr. Frink, sent me a text message, or was it text or where was it? Facebook? I can't remember. Let's check text. Yes. It looks like maybe it was on Facebook. Okay, so I got a message yesterday from Mr. Frink who said that he had a chance to rewrite the actual NDI networking steps. And this is the new article for that. So we're going to go through it here in a minute. But I do want to see what the thought process is with disable these. That should already be... Oh, you know what? That may not already be done. What is the recommendation for the symmetrical or asymmetrical? I've forgotten after all these. Are jumbo frames enabled? It's a little strange that my sources can get to the other computer. But you only now mention that you've had issues with the network card. Well, not those types of issues. That's not what I'm having issues with. See, this is the other thing that I could try on this machine is I can open Access Manager and say external sources 249. Did they ever give you, it's a device? Why are not Bird Dog cameras listed on this list? It's so annoying. You know, try and do this. So let's enable this port because I don't want to... Oh, it is enabled. All right, there we go. Now, if I go back to Studio Monitor and say there are sources at that address... Hey-oh. That was the wrong one. Yay! That's weird. Why? Man, that's strange. So now we're going to search for those NDI sources. Oh, that don't show up in vMix. Oh my gosh. That's also funny. So inside vMix, check this out. They don't show up. If we switch and go back, if I say low bandwidth mode, will it show them then? Nope. And yet, here they are inside Studio Monitor. There I am. A little delayed, but wait a minute, where'd that go? But there I am. Question, vMix, where is it? Sometimes you'll have to restart, which of course you can't always do. vMix is a little weird about that. You may need to open up a local bridge and set to no transcode. Okay, well, there's an idea. So let's go back to computer number 1. This is now the old computer. And we're going to open up NDI Bridge. Because why not? You know? So, hey, you can encode, but you can't decode. Okay. So I want to go local. The name of this bridge is old computer. Oh, old compy. And encode settings, we're going to change our encode settings just to no transcode. All right, and then we're going to start. All right, so now we're going to be given a whole bunch of more NDI sources. So I'm going to cancel this one. Let's have a look at old compy. And yep, here are now those transcoded sources. So now we're going to change NDI sources and we're not going to see any. How fascinating. Maybe we'll do the bridge on our own computer. So now I'm going to open up NDI Bridge on this machine. Ooh, which has a lot more ability. And we're going to just leave it as is. We're going to change the encode settings to do not transcode. And then we're going to start. Boom. Look at that. So now we've like quadrupled all of our outputs. There's the bridge. We're going to say okay on that. And then we're going to close that down. And then where we be here? Oh my goodness. So it likely is going to require a restart. Just, you know, I suspect, because it is indeed because indeed it is a Windows computer. And so, whoops, that's weird. All right, so now I'm trying to reframe. I'm trying to reframe this shot. And let's get this going. And then, hey, it's the Canon with the nice imaging and the low lighting and all of the pudding and the pudding pups and the, you know. All right, so I'm not allowed to quote that comedian anymore, apparently. All right, so back to this other computer where I can control my lighting. Whoops, not that computer. This one, where I can control the lighting. And now we're going to just, boy, this looks terrible. So let's change that one. And let's, hey, there it is. Man, that's so different. Alrighty. So now that's very strange that I have to use an NDI bridge and set it to transcode. Man, look how soft that image looks, though. That is... Wait a minute. And then the computer's here natively. What's the story there? So once I enabled bridge, then all of the sources came through? All right, so now I will change. Sorry, guys, I'm not even... Hey, local mode. I'd run bridge on the new computer. Let the bridge do the MDNS hunting. Agreed. So now look in vMix. In fact, you may have to run it on the new computer because vMix won't see it on the old one. Can encode but not decode. Bridge sources. Yeah, I'll get rid of those. Let me change this source now to the native one. And I'm going to turn off the bridge on this other machine, this machine. So, NDI. Oh, but vMix still doesn't see the original sources like we do in Studio Monitor. So here now, Knudsen Comp NDI, that's the original sources from that computer coming over to this new one. Then we have vMix and we have bridge. But when we go in to change the source in vMix, which again, I suspect that it needs to be a restart, you notice that the old computer vMix sources are not, or the old computer NDI sources are not here. So I'm going to chop that up to needing it to be restarted because it is a Windows computer and lame-o. All right, so yes, got that fixed, and the audio should be fixed. So we're moving on up here, folks. Good times, good times. Yes, bridge source. Yeah, that did something, all right. Kill the bridge on the other machine. Done. We've had that issue on a Mac with Wirecast. Just reboot software usually fixes it. And good morning. What's going on, Zach? Good morning. Hopefully you're well. Hey, did you see the new rack mount Stream Deck with companion built in? It does PoE. Did I see that? Maybe I did. I saw it this morning. It looks kind of neat. Hey, have you heard of the newest update to Unify Network? If you're running a Pro Switches, they now have settings for Dante. So you don't ... So you don't have to create a crazy setup to make it all work correctly. Okay, so I had heard that Unify was coming out with that they were coming out with some sort of like network profiles. I'll just lower this. They were coming out with some sort of like network profiles, and so I had noticed that a couple of weeks ago, I think. And I'd be very curious to know, because they're trying to compete in a space now, which I admire them for, because I think they are hearing the discontent with people who already have Unify switches and are basically needing to go to an AV line in order to do something very simple like NDI. And I say simple like NDI now with a different tone than I did maybe a year ago, because it appears that NDI, the company, okay, under the umbrella of VizRT, is basically only interested in moving forward with HX3. And HX3 looks to be a fairly stable platform, a fairly stable encode. But they're not interested in really supporting HX or HX2 anymore, and they certainly are not interested in supporting full NDI. I would argue they really never were. There was a purpose for full NDI, but they were never really interested in supporting it. Now, they're in a bit of a pickle because they need to support it, because all software outputs as full NDI. So there's no software out there that encodes and outputs HX3. So what you have to do is run a bridge and transcode it to HX3, which is fine. It's one additional step. But if all of your encoders and decoders, so cameras and, TV decoders and plays, Bird Dog Play, minis, studios, 4K fam, all those, if they're all going to be HX eventually, then you're going to need to be able to send those software packages out HX or transcode them and then get them to the place HX. So here I'm torn. I'm torn with this, and I'll tell you why. I'm torn because I really still like the full NDI protocol. I think it's vastly superior. It's the fastest out there. It takes the most data, but it does the best job. The issue I have is if eventually you're not going to permit, it's not even that. It's like you're not going to make it easy for people to develop for full NDI, and everybody's going to go to HX3 in this instance. If everybody's going to go to HX, then you're going to have to do something about allowing the source code to be written into software like vMix, Wirecast, etc., etc. Because we're all going to want to talk the same language, and it seems really silly if they need to run bridge just to get their sources from their video switchers, which is what I'm running here, get their sources to their decoders. And quite frankly, here's the thing, is HX3 will be a vastly superior decode on a play or whatever. It'll be far better, far more stable, because you don't have to do any of this stupid iframe stuff. And so it will be far easier to implement in products going forward. But everybody needs to basically talk the same flavor. And NDI itself needs to probably become just NDI HX3. If I were to guess, and I'm not a BirdDog employee, and I don't have insider information, and I don't know where the industry is going, I have no idea. But if the writing is on the wall, as I suspect it is, then I think that NDI needs to just become HX3, and that needs to be it. That needs to be the protocol. And do away with HX2, do away with full NDI, and just kind of move forward. So, I don't know. Chad says, yes, Zach, I have. The switch firmware to enable it hasn't come out yet, so we're desperately waiting for Enterprise 100XG for our SMP, and there's more information there that... SIMT 2110 backbone. Very simple, like NDI HX3, which is the future. Yeah, I mean, here's the other thing about that is HX3 has a lot less of a network burden than full. And again, I would pay the money to run a full NDI network if that was the option all the way through. Just because it's like the sports car version. And if you can, you should. But if it's not supported by the people that develop the protocol, that's scary stuff. Like I don't know about that. I don't know if you should be looking at having multiple brands of NDI and then trying to piece them all together. Now, honestly, the best way to do it is to have all your full NDI sources on the network, bridge them over, transcode them into HX3, and off you go. It's no real big deal. Everything can talk the same language. You can send everything out then with the same codec, and everybody would be fine. Right now, in the state of NDI, you can do everything you need to do with one simple program. And we're talking about just eliminating that program, essentially, and unifying the entire, not unifying because that's a company, making an industry standard for NDI. And I think we've talked about that a lot over the years that I've been online. It's very simple, like NDI HX3, which is the future. So anyone who wants fully NDI will be better off with Dante AV, I guess. No. Chad, I've been playing with it lately for our EA settings. I've been working a bit with the LLT crew on it, which has been fun. We've been running without it on Unify for years, so it hasn't been a showstopper for us. HX3 isn't actually different than HX2. It's just an H.264 codec option, which many cameras already have in the recording settings. Long GOP. Hey, Chad. Yeah, same here. We've been doing fine on our side, too, with Dante and NDI and other random networks, too. It's just about time that they got it. I mean, it would be nice if, first of all, if there was some competition in the AV market. Not that I want competition against Netgear because I think they make a fine product, but competition always drives innovation and always provides competitive pricing. And so that's better for the customer in the end if more people get involved. But I just hope they execute it correctly, because that can be a tricky... You can, if you're not equipped correctly to handle what the workload will be for that, you can quickly get yourself into some hot water. And it's all well and good when you have churches of 50 people who have a unified network and they're running NDI. It's much different when you have enterprises implementing Unify switches in very serious networks, studios, production suites, Hollywood, all of the, Netflix and all of these types of guys who are relying on this network to function so they can do their job and make money. That becomes a much different game. And so don't implement something unless you're ready to support it. And that has been a lesson hard learned. That is for sure. That is for sure. All right. So the next question I have is the audio playing let's find out. Not this computer. This computer. Is the audio or is VLC still playing? Yes, it is. So can I bring in the audio source here? Let's see. Change NDI list. Audio only. Remote VLC. Now, this is not showing that it's going out. So let's take a look at the audio settings for... Whoa, but it's definitely coming in. Okay, so it's just not in the mix bus. Boom, boom. There it is. And if I add it to the show... Can you hear it? All right, so sorry everybody, it's going to be loud for a minute. Is it playing? Hey-o! Okay, so good news. Good news, bad news, in case, if you hate the music. Then, hey, we're able to bring that over via NDI, which is really cool because I didn't have that option before. So, excellent. So let's go ahead and get rid of this webcam. I'm going to close that one, free up some resources. My GPU is running at 31%. And my CPU is running at 7. This is the coolest thing ever because my previous machine was just struggle bussing with this. And I actually really like using it to generate the NDI sources and then ship them over here. And I just bring them in. So yes, we can hear the music. Excellent. So I really like having dueling machines for no reason because no, it's not for no reason, but it's definitely overkill. I like it because it gives me the option to, do all the work on this side and then just bring them in as sources on inside the big machine. So love it. Love it. That's always really cool. Alrighty. So this is allegedly AV1 encoding. I can share those settings with you, but here they are. See, AV1 1080p 3 megs, and it's going to YouTube that way. If you Stats for Nerds this thing, it does show that the codec is AVC1 on my side, and man, it's like really lightweight. Have you guys noticed any drops or buffers other than when I was monkeying around with the network card? Have you guys noticed any delay, any drops? Because I'm actually doing this show. I have a hard line right down to my router, but I'm actually doing this show over a Wi-Fi connected access point. And if we're running at 3 megs with AV1, it's half the workload on the GPU, first of all, but it's half the data as well. So that is very fascinating. We've only seen a few drops. Okay, so that's better than before where I would just fall off the face of the planet. Now, when I'm going to Twitch, that is H.264. So if you're following me over on Twitch, which doesn't look like anybody is, then that is... Yes, that's H.264. So... yeah, maybe just 1 or 2 drops. Cool. So yeah, I've got all this stuff back in here now. I kind of want to make this. Now I'm just getting nitpicky. I want to make this layer just slightly bigger on the X and the Y. Or, I'm sorry, just the X. There we go. Just to kind of give myself a little more breathing room here. Okay, so far so good. We've been ironing out a lot of problems on my new system show, but it's been really neat to figure. First of all, trying to get the NDI network to talk, that's been fascinating. I did end up putting the IP address of the other computer in Access Manager. Not too sure if that made any difference or not. But then I also I'm running a bridge on this machine, and so this machine is just transcoding everything that it sees, which in Studio Monitor we see everything, but inside vMix for now we don't see everything. So if I click on Add Input and I say NDI vMix and vMix Bridge, that's this new machine, but I don't see the old machine anywhere. So that's fascinating. Okay. Why is that super loud? Okay, so here's the other thing that I'm tempted to do is I'm tempted to bring. I don't know how I'm going to do this without it costing a lot of money. I'm tempted to connect this old machine now via Dante USB and just straight USB out into my switch, and then just having that as the audio output for my speaker system, because I actually have two sets of speakers, desktop speakers, because I've got my main machine, and then I have a work computer that I do some video editing on and whatever. And so I've got two sets of speakers. I don't want a third set. And so if I came out via Dante and then went into this computer and then just virtual sound carded that over to a channel on the X32 core, that should work. But I'm probably going to need either channels on the X32 or a Dante card in the X32. And if I change out the Dante card on the X32, that means I lose the USB option. So then everything has to be Dante. So I don't know. I don't know what the best method would be. Oh, I guess I could use... No, I don't know if that would work. Anybody have any suggestions for this? I need audio, preferably digital, to come out of an old computer and into a new one. And I'd like, again, because, I want to get the audio out of the computer. Oh, that's an interesting question. Convoluted setup, Batman. Why make it simple when it can be complicated? I don't know. It would be interesting because I do have open XLR channels. So there's an idea. There's an idea. Let's look. Actually, that's a very fascinating idea. That would be probably cheaper than doing the Dante option. Is actually just to get a, what is it, AES, is it called AES 50? I need to look again. Let's look up what XLR options, because then I could run this guy to that. I could run my other microphones to that. I could run, and just run it directly into, that's a great idea. Maybe it's time. I use a dual USB sound card that can attach to two computers, but I'm weird like that. That's awesome. VB cable has networked audio for a lot less than Dante. Really? Okay. Oh, that's kind of neat. What do you use specifically? More on the dual USB card. Yeah, that's fascinating. Tell us more. Tell us more. Always interested to know. M Audio, M Game RGB Dual. All right, so M Audio Game Dual. Let's look it up. The best streaming device. Let's take a look. Ooh. This is the unit using the M Game RGB Dual. RGB Dual by M Audio. $200. Has some cute lights on the front, but what I'm really interested in is this. So it looks like we've got XLR in, game USB, and stream USB. That's fascinating. And then you've got, what's the output? Is the output just main out? Or does it have a... I need to see this like plugged in. No more buzzing, humming from or strange cable setups. Connect separate gaming and streaming PCs to the M Game RGB Dual. More on that, please. Mute button with assignable audio samples. Censoring has never sounded so good. Okay. So this goes to the streaming. This goes to the gaming. So I'm assuming the audio comes in from the gaming and goes out to the streaming. And then you would have... Okay, that's interesting. It's really meant for dual PC streamers that play games on one and stream on another, which is pretty common. What about something like the Zoom U44? It's got XLR, 1/4 inch, and SPDIF. I'll have to look that up. It appears as multiple devices. One for game, chat, effects, etc. on both machines. On both machines? Oh, that's cool. All right. Auxiliary in for your mobile phone. Aux out for your speakers. Headphones out. And then microphone either in here or here. Fascinating. And then they all come in as multiple sources? That's... Is there a non-RGB version? It seems... I mean, I understand that people really want... The Solo, I'm assuming, is just for a single computer. Not dual. But the dual has two machines. Okay. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Okay. Well, I apparently have some research to do. Because I need to figure out, I need to clean up the audio. And it makes the most sense to do something like Dante, but the issue is I got to do it for all my sources, and so I'm easily in $1,000. It seems like a lot. Seems like I shouldn't have to pay that sort of money to get it to do what I want it to do, which is just send audio from that machine over to this machine. So for $200, you could do something with this additional panel. I've already got 100 panels, though. I wonder if there's something like... I need like an auxiliary to XLR unit, which... Oh, those are like $200. They're called PCDI boxes. And they're made by Wind. Who makes them? Whirlwind. So that's fascinating. So I just used one of these. Well, I thought about using one of these. We actually didn't end up using it. But this PCDI box could take the audio out of the computer and then bring it in via XLR. So here's the other side. And then that could just go into the audio interface, I guess. And then I could bring that audio then into the X32 core and bring it across that way. Oh, that makes it. That's an interesting idea, and that's only $170, which is much different than the $1,000 I would need for Dante. There's a variety of brands I like Go XLR or Logitech, that can do similar. Oh. What is Go XLR? Oh, okay. Whoa. Let's find out a little bit something about this. Go XLR. I realize you guys want to like see the top of the product, but I would really like to see the back of the product. What does it look like? I guess maybe here. Okay, here. So, optical USB, headphones, microphone, line in, XLR. All right. Go XLR. And then what was the other thing you said? The Whirlwind makes nice stuff. Yeah, I used one and it worked really well. No buzzing or anything like that. So I use their ISO pods for press conferences where we need to bring in a teleconference. ISOPod. I'm assuming, is that ISOPod DI? Oh. Oh. That's cool. Wait a minute. Let's look at this. Line level summing balancer. Oh. Plugging an iPad into a professional mixer. Oh, man. That's basically what I need. That's cheaper. That's right. So that's basically what I need. XLR into auxiliary. Fascinating. Oh, get out of here. Interesting. CI, you said. CI. Okay. Okay, looks like I had the right product, just spelled it wrong. See, that's, well, yeah, that's cool. That is essentially, now in this instance though, then you're going XLR directly into a mixer, right? So that's all well and good, except when, well, hang on. Yeah, that would work. Can you use this in an instance where, like, you have a device on stage that you want to plug into a mixer, and so you have XLR patch panels, right? And you just run a cable to this and plug it in and plug in your device. Would that work, or would that provide too much interference? Art Pro Audio also makes quite a nice USB XLR output DI box. It's not remotely what you want, but it's a handy piece of gear. Because there's a use case where we need to have a device on a stage and somebody needs to run like run an iPod or something like that, right? Run an iPad or something like that from the stage, but it always outputs XLR, or it always outputs TRS. And so you would plug this into the end of an XLR cable and then run the TRS connection to your iPad. It's just really a DI box in a small package. Yeah. And it would avoid... it would avoid the need to... do like... Well, the DI, this DI does left-right like this, right? So then you have to have the correct cables. I think I have this out in the truck. I'll look into this because you either have to have the right cables to go left-right into your device, which I would rather just have an auxiliary cable because those are like a dime a dozen. So that would be ideal. Well, it's really only $100 difference, so that's until I close. That's interesting. I didn't even know this thing was out there. It's far more versatile if you were needing to run in the field or something like that, you know. The Isopod CI is a TRS to stereo XLR DI box with a return channel into the device. Oh my goodness. Here, this one. No way. Jeez. Special order. So then TRRS, how would you even do that? That's a very specific device. This says that the interface is tip is left return, right is right return, right 2 is ground, and sleeve is send. Do you need another one of these on the other side? I don't understand, like, how would you decipher that? That's a very specific pinout. But anyway, it's fascinating. Hey, Sean, how's it going? Hey, check out the Rolls DB14B AV Presenter Direct Box Signal Separator. I got one after I fried an iPhone. The Rolls... let's see if I can copy this. There we go. Let's have a look. I haven't run into many situations where I only need audio from an iPad or an iPod on stage. A lot of artists are starting to use stuff like that for backing tracks. It could be handy to have the option on the stage. Also great for a laptop input at a conference. Hey, there you go. Such a piece of nice gear. Any modern laptop or most phones now with the USB Lightning charger, absolutely standard pinout. Nothing uncommon about it. Isn't it tip ring sleeve? Isn't it microphone left right ground? I thought that was the typical pinout. What I've seen is they want 6+ channels and or video from their device. So 3.5 isn't really an option. Okay, there's this little device, which is $60. Ooh, has a little volume on it. And, okay. We have outputs. Your input is going to be your XLR. No, I'm sorry. Your input is going to be your 3.5. And then your output, which is here, is going to be, it's only $60. Split stereo RCA into 3.5 mil signals. Stereo RCA. Looking to connect your laptop media player to a sound system? Check out the Rolls DB14B, a special purpose direct box that accepts unbalanced stereo RCA and 3.5 TRS and outputs the signal to a summed XLR output. It's well suited for AV presentations from a laptop, rehearsing with backing tracks for live performances. That's cool. Okay, that one I didn't know about. That's for sure. Fascinating. Oh, wow. I haven't run into that too often. This is the right price for this device. And it certainly, it does the thing I need it to do, which is, it'll also output it via RCA, so you can like loop it out to speakers. Also fascinating. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave that one open and check out these reviews. 5 out of 5. Very good price. I needed this. I won't read all these. Works great. It's much more cost effective than other brands. The stereo combining is neat, although I personally don't need individual volume controls. It is handy. Yeah, that you can... Okay, so here's what's interesting about this. There are programs that run pads for backing tracks for instrumentalists, right? I've come across this recently. But inside those same devices, you can run a click track, meaning a tempo, something to keep the drummer on beat. And you can output them left and right. And so you can send your backing track pad to your mixer on the left channel, and you can send your click track on the right channel, and then at the board you just don't send the right channel to the left and right of the house or to your mix bus. You just send that to the ears, and so the right channel is the click, and that goes to everybody's headsets or in-ear monitors, and then the left goes out to the speakers because you can just put that in the left-right. So curious to know, individual left-right level controls. It splits stereo signal. So can this do that? That's the question. Can you come in left-right and go out left-right XLR? Or does it sum it? Transform balanced for mono output. Okay, so you would not be able to do that with this one, whereas you could do that with this one. So you can come in TRS, I believe. RCA inputs. I'll give this a try because I actually have this box sitting here at home. I'll hook it up to my phone and see how that works. USB sound cards are, especially the Dante ones, are my way to go. I just checked. The basic isopod is indeed a transformer isolated and balanced, so should be fine for long runs. Right on. That Rolls only has a single XLR, so no, it sums them. Okay. Well, and that's okay. I mean, it's a fairly inexpensive solution for it. You know, if you just wanted to send the pad up to the speakers, that's great. And then that would give you your XLR. That's very interesting. Okay. All right. Well, that's all very interesting information. The PCDI does have 3.5 millimeter in addition to the one. What? Yeah. So that's weird. Why did my guy give me a split RCA cable? I have XLR here, so I'll give that also a try when I'm working on that. Fascinating. Okay, well, now this has all been very interesting. What's going on here with this? So I have a timer going to edit this. No, that did nothing. All right, so today has been kind of a bit of a jumble of everything, everybody. And the big test was, what does the AV1 encoding look like? I don't have, in the stats for nerds, I don't see any real drops. Of course, YouTube constantly is telling me that, hey, it's low bit rate. We recommend that you send us more data, which I probably could do because I'm not sending them very much data. So if I change this, I'm not going to change it right now, obviously. If I say YouTube Live and I say change the quality of this, I want to go here, output 1, format AV1. I guess I could show you this. AV1. All right. Lowest latency, high quality, bit rate. YouTube is saying 6,800 kilobits. So can I edit this? Encode size 1920 by 1080. All right. Master audio output. Save this. All right, so I'm going to want to plug in my hard line down to my router if I wanted to fire that up. But that's a fascinating idea. The real question is, how much data am I really putting out, you know? And is this what is the quality of this stream? Like, can I hang on? Let me go back to let me go to YouTube. YouTube.com at Jono. He's currently live. All right, here I am. And all right, if I put this over here, here's the current chat. What's the maximum I can do? 1080p. Okay, that's cool. I don't need to because I'm just streaming this. And then I guess I need to for this part. 1080p at 30 frames. It's going to loop it. You're going to see this constantly looping. Yeah, okay. I mean, it looks pretty good. Other than my camera is soft and I need to get an actual 1080p camera. But there you go. We are actually running at 1080, which is, I mean, technically 1080, which is nice. All right. Okay, well, I will send it more bitrate next time and see how that goes. But, you know, until then, can't do much about that. Where is socials? Okay, here we go. Oh, good. We're all caught up. All right. So I'm going to make some decisions about that DI box, mostly because I'd like to have it serve more than one purpose. It would be great if I could use it here for this computer, but then I'd also have the option to take it with me on the road when I need to. So, you know, that's always good to make good use of your money and try and find something that has more than one purpose, because there's a lot of single purpose things here on my desk right now. I do have a meeting this afternoon that I do need to get to. So, well, it'll be starting here soon. So I need to make sure everything's buttoned up, and I'm supposed to do some work here this week. So I've done a fair bit already. I need to finish things up. I have today and tomorrow, and then I think we're going to try and put our house together this week because it's still in shambles and still in boxes. As you probably saw from the other camera shot, there are, you can't really see it from here. There are boxes everywhere around me, so I need to do something about that. And other than that, I think that's it. Did Tom have a show yesterday? Did Tom Sinclair have a show? I don't think he did. I didn't get a notification that he went live. And so I don't know what happened there. Maybe he had one 5 days ago, but he didn't stream yesterday. So, and it was 6 seconds is that first stream that he did. So not too sure what's going on there with Tom. Hopefully he's all right. It's unlike him to not announce, like if he's going to miss it. Although, he did say last week that he was going to be away. Okay, so never mind. He's down visiting his grandkids, I think. So, okay, so Tom didn't have a show. Well, anyways, yeah, good times. Good times, great oldies. Thanks for coming by, everybody. I really appreciate this. And yeah, it's been fun to try and fix my computer live online. And hey, next time it won't be so crazy. And it looks like I've figured out a way to get my camera into this machine, but keep the GPU memory and CPU memory load really low. So love that. That's pretty great. Oh, yes. And Frank is hanging around because I told him that we were going to review this network guide, and we definitely are. So no, I'm not going to bump it till next week. Let me do that right now because we should review that. So Christian Frink over at Bird Dog Support has been busy redoing and getting things in order for here. Where did I put this? Yeah, here it is. Okay, so the URL, my first critique is the URL says NDI-networ, NETWOR. So don't change that while I'm looking at it, but you'll want to update that. All right, here we go. We're going to pull up this new network guide that Frink has got loaded here because I told him I would. All right, so let's take a little look and see what info he's got in here and what has been removed, because as I have stated, it appears to me that more of the network requirements are becoming a whole lot less, especially with the new X series cameras, which are mostly HX, if not all HX right now. So I don't know what the future of that line looks like. I don't have any information on that, nor would I be able to share it if I did, I'm sure. But the this next line is all HX3, so let's go. So anyways, I'm very curious to know what Bird Dog is putting out in terms of what their network requirements are. Now, as you may have remembered in the past, I put out my own networking requirements after doing some extensive research way early on in my Bird Dog career. And mine were the only ones out there for a good long while. And then some people took them seriously and some people did not. We did have them posted in our database because our knowledge database, just because people were complaining that they were buying our cameras and then realized that their networks were insufficient for what they wanted them to do. However, with networks going in the direction that they are, with NDI going in the direction that it is, I am curious to know what it is that is being said. So we will, let's go ahead and take Angus's recommendation here and zoom in here a little bit so that make it a little bigger for you. So the article will help you understand how to manage your NDI network. It covers key steps such as assigning IP addresses, discovering devices on the network, and selecting the right settings and hardware. While this information isn't really new, it's based on insights from the NDI white papers for our extensive experience working with the NDI field. We've tailored it to be easy to understand and put into action, even if you're not an NDI expert. So that's good opener as to, hey, don't worry, we'll walk you through it. So when setting up your NDI network, each of your devices needs an IP address, which is a unique phone number on the network. There are two main ways of doing this, DHCP and static. Let's break down each method. DHCP is your network automatically assigns IP addresses. Think of it like checking into your hotel. You get a room number assigned to you without even having to choose it. This method is easy and quick, especially if you have many devices that are changing frequently. You just plug in the device and it gets an IP address in the network without any extra steps. Static IP addresses is when you manually assign a static IP address to each device. This is like giving each of its devices its own permanent address, which doesn't change. This method is useful if you want more control over your network. You have critical devices that should always have the same IP addresses, like a server or a main camera. Both methods work well for NDI networks, so you need to choose whichever fits for your needs. If you want hassle-free setup, go with DHCP. If you prefer to have more control over your specific devices that need fixed addresses, choose static IPs. All right. Well, from a networking side, I'm gonna hold my breath here. We're gonna see what else is said here real quick. When setting up your NDI network with multiple devices, one must equally identify the communication properly. NDI provides two methods to make this work: an MDNS or an NDI discovery server. MDNS is a default method used by NDI to automatically discover devices on your network. It allows devices to find and connect with each other without needing a central server or manual setup. However, for MDNS to function properly, the network switch connected to your devices needs to be configured correctly. On your switch, you need to enable MDNS traffic and update firmware. Yeah, that's more uncommon than you think it is. And minimize network segmentation. So MDNS works best when all the devices are on the same network. If your network is divided into multiple segments using VLANs or subnets, MDNS might have trouble discovering devices across these boundaries. Consider reconfiguring your network to ensure that all NDI devices are on the same subnet. By following these steps, MDNS can effectively discover and connect all of your NDI devices on the network. Discovery server. If MDNS doesn't work well for your network environment, you can use an NDI discovery server for an alternate method for discovery. The NDI discovery server is a small application that runs on a computer or with a server within your network and acts as a central directory for all your NDI devices. This method is particularly useful in larger networks or complex environments where MDNS might face limitations. If you need help connecting devices manually, check out the white paper for detailed instructions on the tool called NDI Access Manager. Recommended network settings. NDI works well out of the box without needing additional advanced settings. However, adjusting some settings can improve performance. Before changing these settings, test them to make sure that they don't affect your network's reliability. Here are some of the basic settings to consider. This is really well written, Frank. Well done. Ensure each network port in terms of readability. We'll get to the details in a second. Ensure each network port used for NDI has a speed of at least 1 gig and is set to full duplex. Disable EEE on all ports. This setting can interfere with NDI performance. Recommended hardware. You don't need special hardware to set up an NDI network. However, BirdDog tests its NDI products using certain equipment. Here's what we use. And there's one product. The M4250s. This range includes models with different port numbers, configurations. Starting from firmware version 13.04.23, these devices have a BirdDog port profile to customize, optimize performance with BirdDog products. Suggested configuration. Using a single subnet. Hey, I like that. Ranging from addresses of 192.168.1.1 to 1.254. Using MDNS for discovery and DHCP for simplified discovery setup. Still need more help? If you still have questions about your concerns, check out the white paper for more details. If you need further assistance, feel free to reach out to BirdDog support team at help. Providing them with specific details about your network, your goals, and any issues that you're facing will help them assist you better. By following these basic guidelines, you should be able to set up and manage an NDI network smoothly, even if you don't have prior networking experience. All right. So here's what I like. I like that it's very readable. Okay. It's not wordy. It doesn't get into the weeds of a lot of the rabbit holes that I used to go down. And so it's been cleaned up substantially. So well done. I also like that you do lay out your enough information for people to be dangerous. And so it's like a general understanding of here's what you need. You don't go into this should probably be a managed switch that you're using. You kind of say it with this DHCP, static IP, enable DNS traffic, that sort of thing, you don't say. So people may get confused about, well, how do I log into my switch? It's like, well, do you have a switch with a managed interface? And they say, what is that? And then they've purchased the wrong switch. So in an effort to try and avoid people from buying the wrong product out of the gates, you may say something about, you should be looking for layer 2 managed switches, something like that. But in terms of it's condensed, it gives the high points of all the things that are really needed. We're still using the basic NDI network single subnet structure, which is great. My other thing that I'll go back to, and maybe there's a reason why this isn't in here anymore, is I would go and add under this section. This method is useful if you need more control for your network. Why not go one more step further and say, ideally, you would use a DHCP reservation list to assign IP addresses and not static IP addresses. Now, I know, and I bet, that Josh has hammered out this static networking issue. Everybody loves, especially the people that really aren't in the AV industry. They love to slap on their IP addresses in their devices and off they go. The issue is that they're going to get service calls eventually because the device is going to disappear or whatever, and it's just going to not work well. So combining the concepts of static IPs with the concepts of a DHCP server, for the best of both worlds, you would use a DHCP server with a DHCP reservation list to assign your MAC addresses of each of your NDI devices to your network. Then you have the flexibility of DHCP and MDNS, but you have the customization or control of your network like static IP, purports to. So, but well done. I mean, that's literally, if I were still your boss and looking this over, that's the only thing I would say. I do like that it's not a long scroll. I like that it's nice and simple. I like that you have a little table of contents here that is hyperlinked. That's very handy. Man, it's been a long time since I've looked at Zoho. It feels like almost a year. But yeah, really, really tightly done. And I think you cover the majority of what people need to know. So well done. DHCP reservation is more network 201. Fair enough. Although I would say if you had a third bullet point that said, to utilize the strengths of both of these options, consider using a DHCP reservation list. If people want to know more about that, then they can look up the YouTube videos. But I think, me personally, I would say that should be posted in this one. Just because it's like there's also a better way to, over these two basic options, there's also a better way. And then you're right. And then you could say, for more information on that, click on this networking 201 link. And they could do that. Anyways, very good. Well done. Looks good, man. And I think it definitely gives enough information to help people. Oh, that's interesting. Your knowledge base is just FAQs? Oh, no, here it is. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that was 2 years ago we put that up there? I was going to say, are they even using those videos anymore? All good. Well, looks good, man. Well done. Well done. I think it's nice and clean. Makes a lot of sense. And oh, look, you got the new. You figured out where to put the little icon for the new cameras, eh? Good for you. What's the timetable on the API for the new cameras? Or is there one? Because giving the Visca commands is fine, but I know that lots of integrators who are using QSys and using Crestron, I had conversations with people at BirdDog who were like, I'm not interested in your camera until I can have access to the API. So, yeah, the knowledge base is a beast. Agreed. There's a lot in here. There's a lot in here, man. Ooh. Whose is this? A little screen record. That's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. It looks like you've pulled a lot of stuff out too, which is good because a lot of it was very old, right? So, API is soon, in progress. Okay. Well, that's a fair answer. I wasn't looking for a timetable. Good old Zoho. It appears you guys are still using it, so... Good times. Good times. All right, everybody. Well, it's been real. I really need to get to that meeting. So hopefully you're doing well. Thank you so much for coming by. Stay tuned for IBC. Ooh, yeah, we probably should look up. What are the dates for IBC? It's October, right? Nope, not that. International Biometric Society? No. IBC, there it is. September 13th. Oh, right. Jan is over there already. Interesting. All right. Well, I'll pay attention. Maybe I need to jump online tomorrow and do some coverage of IBC. There's an interesting idea. All right. So we will be paying attention to IBC, which happens tomorrow. So maybe I'll shoot for 10 o'clock tomorrow and try and... Man, I've already been on here for a couple hours. Let's shoot for 10 o'clock tomorrow, and I'll up the bit rate here and see how that goes. But if you can join me again, we'll take a look at what IBC's been up to tomorrow and see what announcements have happened, and that'll be fun. So come back tomorrow if you can, and I think I'm good to be online tomorrow at 10, so we'll have a look. Otherwise, take care of yourselves, everybody. Always a pleasure to be with you. I desperately need to go downstairs and refill my coffee mug because it has been empty for far too long. So I hope you're having a great beginning of the end of the week, and that's coming up quick. But be well. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And we will see you all maybe tomorrow, but for sure next Thursday, right here on YouTube and Twitch and all the places that... Those are the only two places I am right now, by the way, but... Anyways, we'll see you guys tomorrow and definitely next week. So take care of yourselves out there. Hope you're well. Thanks for coming by. I always appreciate it. Bye, guys.